So Hytale's been out for a little over 3 weeks now, and as a professional butt sitter who has in fact sat on my butt a very long time playing this game, I feel like I can finally go ahead and just start speaking some of my thoughts about it. A lot of people have been making videos like this recently. I'm not normally one to follow trends, but I guess it's a happy accident this time. I just have a lot I want to say about this game. So that being said, I am not a professional, I'm not a critic, I'm not a game designer or anything like that, so I'm not even an analytical individual when it comes to stuff like this. So this is very much just me just kind of sitting here and, well, blabbing. Hey, you clicked on the video. Unless YouTube suggestions kidnapped you, in which case, welcome. You don't get to leave. I've prepared a bullet point list of things that I kind of want to talk about in this video and things that I kind of want to show you, but keep in mind I am not a professional player of these games either. All this time later, I'm still learning things about Minecraft, for crying out loud. But I have played Hytale for... I'm not sure I want to tell you, actually. I've put in some time, let's just put it that way. So there's a lot of people kind of, as I already said, saying that this game is pretty much just a Minecraft clone, but honestly, I'm going to show you 2 screenshots. Just go ahead, take a look at these. Hytale's on the left, Minecraft's on the right, as if you needed me to tell you that. Go ahead, count the similarities. We'll wait. I mean, to be totally honest, about the only similarities, which I could understand from the outside perspective, so please don't think I'm trying to like come down on people here or anything like that. It's just, besides world has blocks and am outside, like there's no similarities whatsoever. And I could keep going down that rant, but quite frankly, I'd rather just go ahead and stick to just speaking about my thoughts on Hytale. But the only reason I bring this up is because I am going to be comparing these 2 games together quite often, and I'm probably going to keep hammering home the point that the similarities kind of start and stop at the surface level, and in some cases there's no similarities at all, but we'll get into all of that. But of course, this is more of a video on the thoughts I have of Hytale, so I'm not a professional critic, but I am going to be kind of making some of my criticisms known. So first of all, let's talk about the visuals of the game. I've seen a lot of people kind of comparing the visuals of Hytale to that of Minecraft if you're running a generic shader pack, pretty much, which honestly, I kind of agree with. I like the design direction that Hytale is going for in the visual department, but I've got to admit the atmospherics and the lighting are off, just a little bit. And I really do mean just a little bit. It really is only a little off. And that is only compounded further when you look at the lighting of things even in near vision. Now, of course, one of 150 times I'm going to tell you this in this video, Hytale is very much in early access, incredibly early access, so I'm not expecting it to come out the visual marvel of the decade or anything like that. There's something about the color grading, it seems to be pretty flat, and the atmospherics, for instance the volumetric fog, which this has been a criticism of volumetric fog since it started being put in video games, but it tends to wash out the picture. It just looks kind of gray, kind of nullified, kind of dull. It's not super consistent, and I'm worried about that continuity across the art direction for this game. Again, early access, so I'm sure a lot of this stuff is going to change, but this is just initial impressions. Now, that being said, there is probably far more breathtaking moments than there are moments that kind of feel flat. I will always be a hater of volumetric fog. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I do feel like it just washes out the picture all the time. And to put this in perspective, I love Monster Hunter, but Monster Hunter World's volumetric fog, I turn that crap off instantly. Like, well, not completely off, but it can be very, very bad when it's set to max setting. Like, everything just turns some shade of gray. But even with that there's a lot of sights in this game that definitely stick with you. Like the first time I went underwater and saw a freaking whale, that was something. But I'm just saying that I hope they refine this a bit further as they go further in the development, especially before they start adding in other worlds, because if they can't get the color grading on the first worlds nailed down, then this problem is only going to get exponentially worse as more dimensions are added, or as Hytale's calling them, worlds. Think of worlds as like Minecraft's dimensions. I might still use those terms interchangeably though. But the world's visual design on a more on a smaller scale, such as like enemy designs, armor designs, weapon designs, as far as the individual enemy designs themselves go, there is so much diversity in this. And I don't mean this as a shot against Minecraft by any means, but I'm talking dozens more variety than Minecraft has at the moment. Like, Minecraft could triple its mob count right now, and it would still fall short in comparison. Armor design is sort of hit and miss. There are certain armor designs that look really, really good, and then others that are just more of like an obstruction to your view than anything else. For instance, copper armor, forget it. I really don't like copper armor. Now, it's supposed to look crude, it's supposed to look rudimentary, it's very low tier armor, so, you know. But ever since they added the hide armor option on your character so that you can just see your normal character's design instead of the armor that you're wearing, yeah, that has been permanently toggled ever since. Now, weapon designs, though, I have zero complaints with. I love the weapon designs in this game so far. And it's kind of funny, it's kind of difficult for me to like low-tier equipment in a game because I'm a pampered, spoiled priss, I guess. Let's just be honest. But I really, really like the stone weapon designs in this game. It's really freaking good. Like, some of them are my favorite. Sometimes I wish they were a little more powerful so I could keep using them, but I mean, nothing's stopping me, why not? But anyway, so that's really cool. But I love that there's so many like high fantasy style biomes in this game. From the, I spend a lot of time in this game, but I don't know what the biomes are called. I'm sorry. But the Azure Blue Forest place, I really, really like that place. That place is freaking amazing. And then because I'm weird and I like, you know, burn desolate wastelands apparently, I really, really like the volcanic island as well. That place is really freaking cool. You ever come across a dead island? That place is scary as hell, and my arachnophobic ass turned around and saw like 5 spiders on screen at the same time. I have not been back. Underground biomes are actually pretty cool too. There's quite a diversity so far. I have not been to the underground of every single biome though. For instance, I've been to the frost, the cold place, but I have not been underground there yet, so I have no idea what that looks like. I guess there's also a jungle and you can go underground, and there's something very big and scary waiting for you down there. But I have seen like the standard underground biomes underneath the plains and forests. I've also seen the underground underneath the desert biomes as well. I've come across several different things like ruins or like geode kind of areas where there's a lot of crystals around. I've also come across spider nests. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening underground. There's also like tombs and stuff that you can come across. I came across this weird place that had like these friendly magic kind of oriented people in it, like some kind of underground civilization or something. It was chocked full of cool furniture that I stole before I realized it belonged to somebody else. Please don't tell anyone. I kept it. I did not return it. I'm sorry. But my house looks nice. Now, that being said, I am a little bit worried that I've already seen all of the biomes there is to see underground, except for the standard biomes the standard underground biomes for the perspective climates of whatever overworld biome that I'm underneath at the time. Like, I'm sure that there is some unique features to the other biomes, but I feel like I've already seen 80% of what's there. Could I be wrong? Yes. I have not seen everything in this game so far. So, again, this is initial impressions, not a deep dive or analysis. Now, as far as, like, actual gameplay goes, there's not that much happening in this game right now, which I only hesitate to say because I know with this game being compared to Minecraft a lot, Even I've been doing it, where Minecraft beta was out for years and we played the crap out of that with barely anything to do in it for a very long time. So I'm not going to sit here and say that this game needs 150 features, especially in early access. I don't feel like there's that much to do in the game right now, which I know in current gamer climate is going to hurt its reputation a little bit, I feel like. Like, there's so much upgrading around the workbenches. You can do that, you can kind of build up a base and kind of decorate it, but after that, there's not really anything to do. Again, game's in early access, so I'm sure that's going to change in the future, especially with mini games, especially with multiplayer modes and multiplayer servers, and they've also been talking about instance dungeons, so I'm very sure this is going to change in the future, but for now, there isn't really that much to do. Okay, but I hear you screaming at the monitor, so hold on a second. Like I said, we played beta Minecraft for years with like nothing to do and a handful of blocks. So there's always more stuff to build and always more kind of stories to create yourself or whatnot. However, even for Minecraft, and again, I love Minecraft, but I kind of feel like this is sort of a baseline for a lot of games, and I realize that might be a little bit of a hot take, but let me just try to explain. Even for something like, I don't know, we'll just take some PS2 games that I really like playing, like Sly Cooper or something, right? Apart from objectives or anything like that, you can literally just fart around and do whatever you want in the game, pretty much. And same for things like Jak and Daxter or Crash Bandicoots. Yes, I played a lot of PS2 games, I still do. I think what sandboxes have going for them is that they have more than just kind of like the baseline though. Like, they offer lots of different avenues for you to do whatever the heck you want. Like, take Minecraft for instance. Acknowledging that Minecraft is 95% still alive because of the mobs. Or I'm not the mobs, the mods. Mods absolutely keep Minecraft afloat, and I know I'm gonna upset some vanilla players. I play pretty close to vanilla, so I understand probably more than you might think, but mods absolutely have kept that game going. And of course, Hytale has mods too, so, you know, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon, especially since PyxlCRUSH Studios is trying to make mods easier to create and more accessible for new people to get into modding so they can create their own mods, etc, etc. I cannot wait to see the adventure maps for this game, by the way, especially with the built-in prefab editor. Like, dang, can you imagine the horror adventure maps that we're going to have? People's custom horror enemies and stuff. I'm pretty sure you can share prefabs too, so like there's even a possibility for people who like modeling and texturing and all of that stuff to show off their work and let people use them in their adventure maps. But Hytale and where it stands right now, I mean, there is incentive to build just like you would in any sandbox survival game. But again, I just kind of feel like there isn't that much to do right now. I feel like this could be rectified very quickly if animal taming could be finished pretty soon. And then I'm biased. I also want fishing, please. I love fishing. Also, if the magic and alchemy systems come probably within the next few months, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. Because with those 4 systems put in place already, we'd pretty much be caught up to all the main things that people do in Minecraft, so the game would feel a heck of a lot more alive then. Not that I'm saying that Hytale has to become Minecraft or anything like that. I don't want anybody getting that impression. I want Hytale to be Hytale and Minecraft to be Minecraft. But speaking of which, I do kind of want to get in on some of the individual details as well, so let's just go ahead and talk about combat here for a second. I was incredibly surprised about the combat in the game. I thought it would be kind of like just, let's just put it the way it is. I thought it was going to be a Minecraft clone a little bit with the combat, but the combat ended up having like this combo system or whatnot in the trailers, and I started to get my hopes up. I got into the game and started whacking things as one does. There's like shield bashes and pummel strikes and charge attacks, and there's special moves. It's an entire freaking RPG combat system that, like, it kind of feels like there's the DNA of Elder Scrolls Skyrim in it. And this is just early access as well. I don't know what other weapons they plan on adding. I mean, this is made by Hypixel Studios, so if you've ever played on the Hypixel server and you've seen the diversity of combat that they have on that server in Minecraft, which is a much more limited system than this, like the possibilities become near endless at that point, and I cannot wait to see what else they add. If I can have one little criticism though. The big two-hand weapons, such as the Great Mace or the Battle Axe, attack incredibly slow. Like, I understand that they're big weapons, they should attack slow, but they attack really slow. So if you attack enemies long enough holding a particular weapon, you actually charge up a gauge, and that gauge, once it's filled, you can push the whatever keybind you have. I changed all mine, so I don't know what it is by default. For me, it's Z though, and that actually triggers sort of an ultimate attack that does a lot of damage if it lands, which A, is really cool, and B, is really bugged, because unfortunately that only builds up so long as you have that weapon active, and the bar completely resets if you switch to a different item in your hands. So say you're using a two-handed weapon, you're underground, and you get routed out to a darker area and you have torches on your number 2 slot. Alright, well then just go ahead, pummel strike and knock them back so that you have enough time to switch to number 2, put a torch down, then switch back to number 1 before they can hit you, right? Simple. But as soon as you do that, because you switched off of your weapon, your ultimate gauge just reset, which means you no longer have that. It can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but this is very situational. Most of the time it's not a problem, but I am hoping that they'll change it in the future. Bow combat, as usual. If you know me, I love my bows. Bow combat is incredibly satisfying. Now that being said, there is a system of combat that I have not tried yet in this game, but I do have one little criticism of it, and it's really not that big of a deal, but since these are my thoughts, I'll just go ahead and state my opinion. The magic in this game, first of all, there isn't a whole lot of it, so this is an aspect of the game that it's there enough to let you know that they're going to be working on it and kind of give you a little bit of a sneak peek of where they're going to try to take it in the future. But for the most part, it's pretty unimplemented at the moment. For instance, there's no enchantments for weapons, etc., but there is like magic staffs or whatnot, and there's this sort of unique aspect to them that I don't know how to feel about, and it's that they kind of have almost like RuneScape's rune system in the game, where enable to cast spells, or I've never played RuneScape, so correct me when I go wrong, but I'm pretty sure you have to have these runes in your inventory and able to cast spells. So you want to cast a fire spell or fire related spell, you have to have fire runes in your inventory. Well, Hytale is going that route, but with essences. So if you want to cast a fire spell, then you have to have fire essence in your pants. I don't know why I worded it that way, but whatever. Anyway, now I like the idea of these being incorporated in the crafting recipes, but I don't know how I feel about an open world survival game where I have to go to a biome and farm up 100 essence so that I can cast my weak spell 100 times and then have to go farm for more. I don't know what they're going to do for automation, so this might not be that big of a deal. But even if it gets to a situation where it's not a big deal at all and you practically have infinite essences, then why is the system even there? But if RuneScape sort of has this system in it, and there's a lot of people that love RuneScape, so I could be totally off base. I guess we'll see. But personally, I'm kind of hoping they'll remove that and just keep the essences as part of the crafting recipes. Alchemy, however, is where I've got my eyes kind of locked at the moment, because there is potions and stuff like that in the game. There isn't very many, and it's very rudimentary, but there's enough, again, to let you know that they're working on this. I am very, very much hoping that alchemy is extensive and wide-reaching and very deep. I want next to useless potions that you can make for almost no ingredients at all. Friggin' stick a dandelion in a water bottle and get like regen 1 for 5 seconds. I don't care. Just crappy, almost useless, technically better than nothing kind of potions and whatnot. But then I'm also hoping for, of course, the middle of the, kind of midway between that and the really powerful stuff. I don't want to see the game broken by a single mechanic in the entire game, so I'm not talking OP stuff, but it would be really cool to have things like really good healing potions, potions that help you see in the dark, potions that might like deter enemies from attacking you, other ones that make them attack you. You know, splash potion kind of deal would also be really cool, because then you could connect this up with automated farms and create animal or enemy mob farms. There's also like the potential of poisons and being able to poison tip arrows or poison your weapons, or Terraria-esque imbuements to be able to put temporary enchantments on your stuff. Of course, I'm only talking the combat so far. I haven't even gotten started on the armor yet. There's tons of possibilities there as well. We already know that there's elemental resistance systems in the game because fire-based enemies take 0 damage from fire now. And we know there's things like poison in the game already. If you've ever had to go looking for venom sacs, then yeah, you know all about the poison. But that would be pretty cool. I would love to see that. I'm just really hoping that it's very difficult to mess up an alchemy system in a video game. So quite frankly, about the only way that could mess it up is either making it totally useless or totally overpowered. Actually, I just realized something that's not on my bullet point list. So let me go ahead and cover this real quick. The building mechanics. Amazing. I'm hoping they'll add traditional item frames, which I don't think is necessarily out of the question, because speaking of that magic village that I accidentally stole all their stuff, and I know I'm not giving it back, I did find paint canvases, and there's no paintings on them right now, but the item exists, and a blank canvas. So, but with all that being said, there is a lot of planned features for this game too. For instance, I saw people talking about like airships, or I'm sorry, not airships. I'm getting ahead of myself. Things like machinery, and how they'd love to see it like a mix between machinery and magic. I feel like that would be really cool, but I'm really hoping they go a little bit the elemental route. So like for a lot of the fire-based machinery, you would need essence of fire, and they could tie in the magic that way. Same for like electric kind of machinery as well. Things for water-based machinery. And the reason why I want them to do this is because this opens up the floodgates for a lot of design opportunities. For instance, the fire stuff could be very sort of like very rough and rigid, kind of stone or ore oriented, very metal, very metallic. Think like coal age style technology. The electricity stuff could be like Tesla style stuff. Essence of water could be like steampunk style stuff. Essence of the void could be very alien-like technology, etc., etc. Like, I would love to see that kind of stuff. And then Jasmine Dragon in the comments was actually talking about potentially putting in things like airships, hence why I said I got ahead of myself earlier. I think that would be really freaking cool, especially if we kind of take this idea and sort of expand it to other things as well. We could have other forms of transportation other than just horses. We could have flying things. We could have like hot air balloon style, well, airships. One thing that I really wish Minecraft did was take some of their systems and sort of mix them together. For instance, we have boats, we have fishing rods, but we don't have fishing boats. We have blast furnaces, we have redstone, yet we have no propulsion methods that combine the two type of technologies somehow. We have magic stuff such as like Skulk, which is more soul oriented than magic oriented, but still. Or even just like enchantments or something like that, yet we don't really have anything that crosses us over into like combat outside of enchanting swords. Again, all of this can be rectified with mods. Look, whether we like it or not, mods are the reason, 90% of the freaking reason why Minecraft is still relevant to this day. I'm just hoping that Hytale will have a lot of this stuff innately, since they've already put themselves in a really good position for this, because they are doing high fantasy style survival sandbox style game. Wow, I couldn't remember words there for a second, jeez. Also, apparently there was these leaked images of what appears to be some type of template style crafting menu for weapons, but then there's a tab for armor at the top as well. So it's almost like there's some type of like Tinker's Construct or Tetra style construction, I guess. I don't know if like maybe you make a weapon and then you unlock the different parts of that weapon, so you could mix like a copper hilt with an iron blade, for instance. I don't know. Or if they're more cosmetic than anything else. I have no idea. But I'm hoping there's going to be some serious changes to that, because if there's one thing I don't like about the combat in this game is the degradation of your equipment, which that is in Minecraft, so that part itself is not the problem. But the part that I take issue with is that so the items in this game are a little bit on the expensive side, and they've done that to try to incentivize the idea of using like repair kits, but repair kits only restore your weapon 90% of the way each time you use one. It takes away 10% of your items' total durability, but both of these sentences work exactly the same way in practice. So that's why I say it only restores 90% of whatever your total durability is. Because this puts it in perspective that after only a couple of repairs, you're going to have to make a new one at some point, unless you want your stuff breaking all the time. I'm hoping they'll either take out repair kits and lower the requirements for making stuff, so that we'll basically have a more repeatable recipe, more sensible amount of resources going into creating multiple tools and weapons like we do in Minecraft. Or a much simpler fix, just leave everything as is, but let repair kits actually fully repair your weapons instead of taking away 10% durability all the time. There's literally no reason for them to be doing that. I've racked my brain trying to figure out why, in a gameplay perspective, you would want to do that. I cannot come up with a good answer at all. About the only guess that I could come up with is the notion that they sort of wanted to hybridize these two things, where instead of making something and then just repairing it forever, they wanted you to have to make new ones. But they didn't want you to make new ones all the time, so they tried to incentivize you to use weapon repair kits and all this other stuff. Problem is that one of these systems works fine on its own. Mixing the two together is just a pain in the ass. Like, why are we mixing these together? I don't get it. So I hope they'll change that. But yeah, it's not just weapons either; it's armor too, and your tools. Now, this is a game that is designed around high fantasy, so a lot of MMO-like features. I cannot wait to see what other types of mounts they add into the game. We have horses already. Well, we have horses because you can ride them, but you can't tame them or breed them or any of that kind of stuff. Not yet, anyway. But I have a feeling there will be other rideable things. For instance, in the desert, I found a camel. Not to rip off Minecraft entirely, but I'm just saying. I don't know if they have a pet system in mind or not. And people are already calling this game like the prototype to a 3D Terraria, and Terraria has pets, so I realize I'm once again proposing basically a copy-paste mechanism, but Hytale can make it their own, I'm just saying. And with that being said, there's not really much else I can think of to really bring up at this point, so yeah, those are just my kind of initial impressions on this game. I know I've said it several times throughout this video, but this game is in early access. It's not like anything I've said is the end-all be-all to all of these topics or anything. The game in its current state is a little bit bare bones. There's a lot of content there for what's there right now, but it is very, very early on, so way too soon to be making any definitive judgments on this game. As far as how similar this game is to Minecraft, I've kind of said this in a few other videos, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it here too. I don't think this game and Minecraft have any similarities in common whatsoever outside of the most surface level, half a second glance magnitude. Like, yes, the game has blocky terrain. That's as close as it gets to Minecraft as far as the world design goes. Enemy designs, you could say that both games have skeletons, but even the skeletons, the closest mob relation that these two games have, the execution is almost completely different, and everything else in Hytale from there is just completely different as well. I mean, if you really wanted to nitpick and try to find things that were exactly the same, you could say the ambient fish behave pretty much the same, but that's really stretching at that point. Like, what do you want a fish to do? Fish swim. That's it. I do hope they add shark attacks to the game, though. I cannot wait to see what other worlds they have planned as well, because they have mentioned that the current world that we're running in right now is called Orbis. I don't know if that's a universal name or if that's just a world name, but that kind of, it seems like it's the latter, the way that the Hypixel team has been speaking about it. So I don't know what other dimensions they plan on adding, but I do know, based on the hub with all the work in progress signs, which I love, by the way, there's been a lot of criticisms towards the work in progress signs, like people talking about how it just kind of feels like they're shoving it in your face that this feature isn't finished. I'm sitting there thinking it's an early access game. Duh. Of course, there's going to be a lot of unfinished stuff. Like, what did you expect? But honestly, having the work in progress sign there, first of all, it's funny. The first time I came across a mausoleum, swung the doors open and saw a work in progress sign in front of me, I busted out laughing. I want the work in progress thing for a cape. But I also really liked how in the hub there was so many work in progress signs. Like, those may be unfinished features that haven't been implemented yet, but seeing the sheer volume of them lets me know that that hub is going to be chocked full of stuff to do later on. So I cannot wait to see what else they add there. On my list of hopes, I'm hoping for an underwater themed world. Even if it's kind of like Monster Hunter World, where the underwater theme is still on dry land, that could be pretty cool. Or the heck, literally just make a giant deep ocean. There's no dry land. Do it. Go Subnautica style. I do want to see a creepy dimension of some kind, though the type that I'm thinking of is more like just dark and sort of monotone and creepy things that can hear you, and the more noise you make, the more you get attacked. And then I would love to have like this alien-esque dimension, kind of what I wish and the end dimension would have been. That would have been really cool. End dimension for Minecraft, I mean. Just really alien, very astral horror kind of thing. I like creepy stuff. Maybe I shouldn't be making a decision what these dimensions are. I'll make them all scary. I have seen some people bring up the idea of like a celestial realm, as well as sort of like a nether-esque, like Hytale's take on the nether in the game as well. I don't know how many worlds they plan on adding. I just know there's a lot of gateways in the hub, and they've already mentioned they want to add multiple worlds. So anyway, I would say that if you're still on the fence of whether or not you want to buy this game, I don't have a creator code, don't worry. I'm not about to promote that. I went full blown for the Curse Breaker edition. I didn't mean to. Look, my thoughts on this game summarized is that right now, at this point in development for Minecraft Beta, there was a lot less in that, and I loved that even back then, and I love what the game has turned into, especially the modding scene. I'm having the same vibes from this game, except there's already way more going on in this game right off the bat. Again, not saying they're the same game, they are very different games. Minecraft is very much sort of a mellow, kind of laid back most of the time, not all the time, sandbox kind of experience, while Hytale is more of an RPG that's set in a sandbox. So they are very different games. They play very differently. I would say that it's at least worth the standard edition. Standard edition is 20 bucks, so it's hardly gonna break the bank, and that's 20 bucks that goes to support a team that is already giving it their all. If you're not keeping up with the updates for this game, update 3 is already coming out. The game has been out for 3 weeks and 1 day. Now the updates I imagine will probably slow down to like like every 2 weeks or every monthly, or I don't really know. But I do know that they're giving it their all, and they're absolutely knocking it out of the park with the updates. Anytime something's broken, they release a hotfix very quickly. It's quite impressive what they're doing so far, actually. I love Minecraft, and I'm not trying to create a conversation about which game is better, because as I feel I've probably already made crystal clear, I can't stand that kind of thing. These are very different games. That type of conversation isn't even necessary. I can't wait to see what else they do with this game, but I'm going to stop rambling now. I think I've covered everything that I want to talk about, at least for now. I'm going to be playing this game a lot on this channel. I already have. Very quickly, for anybody who's a regular, there is a new content schedule posted on the community section right now. You can see what we're going to be doing, what our main series are going to be, where our bonuses are, and all the nitty-gritty details there if you're curious. And I'll of course keep on making videos like this whenever I feel there's something to discuss outside of just standard Let's Plays. So yeah, I guess that's it. So like and share the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more. A huge shout out to all of our enchanters. I could not do this without you guys. Thank you very, very much. Most of all though, I just hope that you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.